directing and controlling planning moves forward into all other functions and control receives back. It is the final link in the function chain of management activities and bring the management into a full circle. Thus, it assumes significance in the process of management. Meaning, control is a significant function of management. Managers follow the control process where they assure that the resources are obtained and are used optimally to achieve the objectives of the organization. Accordingly to Kunz and O'Donnell, it is process of measuring and correcting the activity of subordinates to ensure that event conform to plans. Thus, this definition highlights the measures for control and corrective action taken by the manager to ensure the planned implementation of activities in the organization. While highlighting the principle of management, Henry Fayol includes the control function as an important principle of management. His perspective is in conformity with Kunz O'Donnell relating to the relationship between planning and control. Fayol has included the managerial instructor to his subordinates and the principle that the manager established to have an effective control over the process and activities. According to Fayol, it consists of verifying whether everything occurs in conformity with the plans adopted, the instruction issued and principle established. It aims to point out weakness and errors in how to rectify them and prevent reoccurrence. Thus, it is understood as a process which measures current performance and guides it towards the pre-planned aims and objectives. Its essence lies in checking the progress against the plan, setting up of individual organizational goal and seeing that they are achieved as per plan without any error. And next one is importance. So control is a important because it identifies the area of weakness and errors so that they can be rectified and prevent reoccurrence. It the range of deviation from the original plan could be identified. It stimulate action which will give up all the departments. It is an important function enabling the manager to take clear cut decision. A well designed control system ensure good results as it is directly related to planning. It can make planning effective and meaningful. And these are the activity 1, only single activity. Features, so we'll discuss about 6 feature. Controlling has the following features. Controlling is a circular process. So management function begins with planning and ends with controlling, and hence it helps the manager to identify a deviation from the plan, compelling the activities to take place with no deviation and as per plan. Control is a continuous process. Managers constantly revise the standards and plan accordingly. Thus, the process is continuous, ensuring that there is no variation between the plan and performance. Control is a forward-looking activity where the managers continuously observe the past and plan for the future. Managers learns from the mistake committed in the past and exercise effective control to see that they don't recur in the future. Control is an all perceives activity. It applies at every level of management, although the scope of control varies across levels. And control demonstrate a positive approach. It can never be an obstacle or hindrance, rather it helps the manager to successfully manage against predetermined objectives. The process is designed in such a way that it can pinpoint the deviations and enhance performance. Next one is the control process. Control is the key driver for the success of an organization. The control process has five basic elements. Uh, they are establishment of standards, second one is measurement of actual performance, third one is comparison of actual performance with the original standards, fourth one is taking corrective action, and last one is feedback. To discuss about these process deeply, establishment of standards. A standard is a criterion against which sorry future results could be measured. Standards are created when objectives are set during the planning process. Control begins with the establishment of standards. An organization strategically plans, and the plans are broken down into department level, unit level, and individual objectives. Often it is found that standards are of physical natures and are expressed in terms of number of units, clock hours, and other measures. Organizational standards are also expressed in terms of financial measures, more in the nature of increase in revenues, expenditure, investment, etc. Some of the standards relating to the people are also in the nature of job satisfaction of employees, the brand of the organization, the ranking of the organization, etc. Whatever may be the choice of standards, care has to be taken to see that they are measurable, practical, and attainable, and not too difficult to achieve. There are tangible standards like the sales volume, financial results, etc., and intangible standards like those related to people issues like job satisfaction, job enrichment, etc. A tangible standard is easy to evaluate and control compared to the intangible standards. Technology and the technological tools have, however, made the standard easy to measure and quantify. Measure of actual performance. The very purpose of control is to measure actual performance. Monitoring and measurement is a continuous activity and involves collection of data that represent the actual to the intended so as to help the manager in his control function. While establishing standards, if there is clarity and uniformity, measuring the actual performance should be an easy task. It also depends on the speed with which the control information is required. Otherwise, the delay in measurement will cause delays in taking the corrective action. Normally, an organization would evaluate the effort, effectiveness, adequacy, and efficiency and the process followed. Comparison of actual performance with the original standards. Once the standards are established and the actual performance is measured, it has to be compared with the original standards. It might result in either meeting the standards or deviating from the standard. If the original standards are met, the organization can plan for higher standards. But if the manager has observed deviation, corrective action has to be taken. Minor deviation could be tolerated, but the management has to view the major deviations seriously. Taking corrective action. If the manager has observed deviations, effort have to taken by him for corrective action. The measurement of performance and its comparison with the original standard should lead to taking steps towards correcting those deviations or checking the original standard itself. The speed with which action is taken and methods used towards the same determine the process of control in future. Corrective action can take place in the simplification of processes, use of advanced tool and technique, restructuring the organization. Redefining the people management practices, effective communication method and channel, etc. The corrective action should be such that the planned performance takes place with the corrective action taken by the organization. Last one, but not least, feedback. Feedback is an important element in the control process. The manager who is in charge of control will receive a lot of information and feedback on the actual performance in comparison with the planned standards. A positive feedback sends positive results and achievement of performance standard. A negative feedback, however, compels the manager to take corrective action so that it motivates the subordinates towards performance and standards. Next is essential of a good control system. So controlling is essentially a checking function of manager. Organization do have effective control point and design them carefully to help them grow and sustain its growth. There are certain characteristics of effective control system if followed will benefit the organization there. The suitability is an essential element in the control activity. Control different unit departments. For example, sales and marketing have different controls compared to the production department or finance department in manufacturing setting. Again, a manufacturing setup is different from a service organization. It has thus to be appropriate and adequate. Next one is one of the significant factor of good control system is flexibility with which an organization can work when standards change, raised or get changed due to the unavoidable, uncertain external environment. The needed flexibility has to be built into the control system. The most important element of a good control system is the inbuilt mechanism which will allow immediate reporting of deviations from established standards. And a forward looking control system helps the organization to uh, ensure that the deviations do not recur in future. Since managers do not have control over the past, they do not the mechanism to see that all deviations are corrected based on the learning that they have had in the process of deviation. A good control system should be able to pinpoint whether it is a simple deviation or a vital deviation leading to a strategic initiatives. Effective control presupposes defined standards so that they are objectives and attainable. Control system should be affordable and within the reach of the organization. The control system should be designed in such a way that is easy to understand and seen as objective by individual who uses it. Complex control system defeat the very purpose of control as it becomes difficult to understand and implement the same. Once the deviations are detected, the control system must allow the manager to take corrective action and control the situation on hand. When people work in organization, failure are bound to occur and hence the control system should be amenable and remedial action. Timely action is the crux of an effective control system. Hence, control should report the results in a timely manner. It is not possible to control everything in an organization, hence control system should be effectively designed at crucial checkpoints. Accurate, objective and measurable data will help the organization to take the corrective action immediately so that the work follow in the departments do not suffer. Third one is activity. Recall the elements of good control system. Write down as you report. Type of control. Next one is type of control. Controls can be classified into several types. They are most effective only when they are applied at critical points the unit head managers can implement the control before the process begin, known as feed forward. During the process, which is known as concurrent, or after it is completed, which is known as feedback. In the feed forward controls, the goal is to prevent antiseptic problems, and hence the focus of the control is on the operations before it begins. Regular maintenance, which is regularly done for automobiles, machinery, etc., are examples of feed forward control because they prevent problem in operation of machines, automobiles, etc. Controls like standards, cost control are also adopted in organizations, so check the cost of product before commencing the commercial production. Concurrent control apply to processes as they are happening. Example of concurrent control include any type of steering or guiding mechanism such as directing, supervision when the operation is being performed, or automated system such as computers programmed to inform the users when they have issued a wrong command, and also the quality checks that the organization have to ensure quality standard. Feedback controls are exercised after the completion of the activity for reviewing the results of operations. They guide future planning, input, and process design. The timely, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and annual reports are examples which can ensure immediate adjustment at the workplace. Budgetary control is also as an example of post-action controls. In addition to these types, organization also use the internal control system. Through the audit, risk, and compliance division of the organization, internal control relate to the organizational method in order to safeguard its assets, check and verify the accuracy of its data, promote efficiency in operations, and encourage adherence to the prescribed policies, procedures, and rules for compliance. Thus, control and its scope indent below beyond the matters that normally the accounting and finance departments engage in. In layman terms, internal controls helps organization to strictly follow policies, procedure, and rules so that the organizational objectives ultimately are achieved. Two type of internal control are normally observed in organizations: preventive and detective. Both the types of control are used by organization because they serve different purpose. The internal controls assume significance because organization continuously re-engineer their processes and procedure in order to grapple with change. A series of steps are followed in order to manage the company in the right direction with effective controls. As the name itself suggests, preventive control decrease the chance of errors because they occur and prevents many untoward incidents, events that occur in the course of managing a company. Such controls are critical as they reinforce the quality standards of the organization. Example including pre-approvals that the organization insists on the employees, like client visit, travel authorization, organizational access control, including access to password, representing the organization at official events, etc. Detective control. Detective controls, on the other hand, helps the organization to detect error or problem after the transaction has occurred. It is but natural for mistake to occur in management of a company. But what is more important is to detect the lapses in order to take corrective action. Some example includes the monitoring of departmental transactions, review of budgets, and expenditure incurred to observe the differences and the justification thereof, the inventories and stocks maintained by the company, etc. Next one is technique of control. So there are various techniques of control. Controls techniques is a specific method or procedure which deals with the pertinent organizational information with which the management is able to implement a suitable control strategy in order to assess the performance of the organizational operation. The standard controls technique followed by organizations are as follows. First one is Gantt chart. So Gantt chart is an instrument which helps the manager in planning, controlling simple project. The manager can plot the process in each of the operation along with the expected time and see for himself whether the progress is on time, behind time or ahead of time. Any deviations could be easily seen and corrective action can be taken immediately. It facilitates controlled by continuously comparing the actual performance against the expected performance, and hence the manager, the unit head can keep the processes under control. An example of Gantt charts for any starting project in a month is as follows. Figure 1. Preparation and planning. Develop proposal, approve proposal, recruitment team, develop and test, specific detail, development prototype, approve prototype, and develop and test beta version, apply corrections, approve final version, implementation, train user, roll out final version. And the first week, second week, and fourth week. So first week for develop proposal, approve proposal, recruit time, develop and test in all week, and specific detail, develop prototype, approve prototype in second week. Second one is break-even analysis. Break-even analysis is a useful tool of control. It helps management to understand a set of relationship among fixed cost, variable cost, total cost, price per unit, level of output, profit, loss, etc. The manager can modify the value of any these variables in case of deviation through these analysis. Breakdown analysis examine the relationship between total revenue and total cost at various level of production so as to establish a break-even point. The break-even point demonstrates that the organization can neither get profit nor loss. Where total revenue equal total cost, it focuses on the managerial concept as a control tool. The managerial differences in the value of variables, the results of the variation can be evaluated and recorded so that the managerial result of the managerial decision by showing the effect of incremental changes in volume of price, etc. Break-even analysis can help the manager only when the price, technology, efficiency, levels, machinery use, etc. remain the same in a dynamic world. All these factors change and hence the tools has limited use. Budgetary control. Budgetary is the ununiversal most universal device of control. It is a statement which provides the estimate of revenue and expenditure for a stated period of time. It focuses the managers to account for the utilization of capital and other resources. It is a managerial responsibility to collect the information about the actual cost incurred against budgeted cost so that deviation could be corrected and plans prepared so that measures in the various activities of the organization such as production, marketing and human resources management, etc. Managers have to deal with various type of budgets which depends on the nature of activity, master budget, materials and utilize budget, revenue and expense budgets, capital expenditure budgets, etc., etc. So zero based budgeting is also a type of budgeting used by organization. The budget is prepared from zero base as if it is was the first budget of the organization. This type of budget provide a greater justification for the continuation or the termination of an activity. Since the plan is broken down into departmental plans, it allows participation of everyone in the exercise. Recruitments of time limits this type of budgets, and organization also found it's expensive as it requires minutes scrutiny. Fourth is PERT and CPM. PERT is acronyms for Program Evaluation and Review Technique. It is most appropriate for controlling complex, unique, and one-time projects like building projects, shipbuilding, and airport building, etc. It can be used as a planning tool as well as controlling tool. In its planning function, the total expected time to complete a project can be estimated. As a control activity, it can help in estimating the probability of meeting project deadlines to observe the deviation. The construction of the program evaluation and review technique network requires detailed analysis and assessment of each component in total project. The various sequence of activities needed to accomplish the stated goal have to be worked out and appropriately timed so that the project can be delivered on time. PRT explains the program as a network of events and their interrelationship with each other. Each component of the program has to be analyzed and assessed so that the goal can be achieved. Further, each event and the activity has to be timed properly for PRT to deliver result. Figure to show the event as A, B, C, D and 1, 2, 3, 4 as activities which takes time to complete. All the activities are independent and structured in the logical way. Each of the activities have to be timed in such a way that no activity will start without completing the preceding activity. B cannot be started without completing A. Similarly, C cannot be started without completing B. This applies to all the activities that are listed in PRT. Time estimate are made for each activity as the most optimum result, most likely result and the most pessimistic result depending on the estimate that are made. Assessment and control is depends on the event, activities and the time estimate that are arrived at while planning for the same. So event A, event B, event C, event D, and first event is A to B. On completion of A, B will be start. On completion of B, D will be start. CPM refers to critical path method. Critical path method is simply the longest path in terms of amount of time the entire project will take. If the event on the critical paths are delayed, then the entire project will be delayed along with the project delivery. Any path which is other than the critical path is known as the subcritical path, which is shown shorter than the critical path. The difference in time between the critical path and the subcritical path is known as the slack time, and the subcritical path is known as the